This is the Brilliantly Branded podcast, a safe place to have a voice and talk about branding and all the reasons that bring a brand to be brilliantly branded. I am your host, Maria Lucia Romero, a woman empowering other women, and I am welcoming you to this journey of learning and inspiration to build awareness around the world of business and the world of brands. This is the Brilliantly Branded podcast. The power of determination is what describes our guest today. Her story is very inspirational, with a wide experience working with the big brands in advertising agencies in New York. Part of her story reveals how she decides to stop her career at some point and get the full-time role as a mother. As well, the challenges of job hunting in a new country with a new language when she arrived to live in Europe, and how she ended up building her own agency to generate positive impact. She is Karla Gutierrez, the founder of Cielo Team, an organization committed to making a difference and extended it across borders. Her initiatives have been making an impact, and she received a recognition from the Women Economic Forum as an iconic woman working for a better world. Karla is on a mission to empower women and empowering girls in need in Latin America to heal from their traumas, utilizing art therapy, generating impactful transformations. So please grab a cup of coffee or tea and get comfortable to enjoy this episode. Welcome one more time to the Brilliantly Branded podcast. Okay, well, hello and welcome to another episode of the Brilliantly Branded podcast, where today I have a special guest, a woman, an empowering woman that have been actually part of the advertising world. She have been working as well in branding, but actually one of the things that took my attention is her purpose and commitment with social initiatives. She will share with us all the things after that, all her experience, but not just as a professional, as well as a mother, as well as an arriving to a new country and facing different challenges. So, of course, part of the things that we are doing in the Brilliantly Branded podcast is giving that voice. And now I want to invite my guest is Karla Gutierrez. She is going to introduce herself. She is going to give us all the details, and we are going to jump to this conversation that, as I know, is going to give a lot of lessons to learn. So please, Karla, could you introduce yourself?
Yes, for sure. Thank you very much, Maria Lucia. I am very grateful with you for creating this type of platforms, a platform that is amplifying our voices. I also want to thank you for the time to discover and to encourage us to step into the microphone and tell our stories. So I am very happy to be here.
Oh, well, thank you. Welcome.
Thanks. Well, if I had to describe myself, I would say that I am a person that sees when there is a problem or when there's a challenge, I see it more as a puzzle, and I am always trying to find opportunities to solve it with an effective and creative solution. My life is pretty much a mix of different cultures. So imagine a table with sushi, tacos, and brownies. And it's not only that, it's also a mix of languages, English, French, and Spanish. That's my everyday at home and work, every time, everywhere. And it's also a matter of culture and trends that we need to follow. So that's basically my life. And I would say that overall, I am a person that believes in the power of positivity. And I also believe in the power of people working together to make a difference. So that's what I try to reflect in everything that I do.
Just to give a little bit of context to our listeners, you mentioned that your life is a mix of tacos and brownies and many other different things. But what is the reason why? Where are you coming from, and what do you have this mix in your life?
So I would say that it's a mix of cultures because I am Mexican. I was born there. I worked there all my life, part of my life. Then I moved to New York. And now I am living in Europe. So, and the thing is that throughout my life, I've always been in charge of companies or campaigns or brands that are global. So I'm always trying to get information about the different cultures, but also about food. So that's why I say that it's a clash of cultures and mix of food in my house.
Oh, fantastic. You mentioned that you have been part of the advertising world. So how this journey have been made?
So I started, at first I studied graphic design, but then I realized that it was going to be a bit difficult. The reality is that I wanted to be an artist, but I started hearing all these stories about how a woman or a girl in Latin America could have or could face a lot of challenges to make a name and to live out of it. So I decided to study advertising or marketing, advertising, and design. So like that, I could have like a broader opportunities to work. So all my career, I was working to pay for it. And when I ended up my career, even though I thought it was like super difficult, I realized that it paid off because my first agency was BBDO. So they hired me and I started working there. And then I moved to different agencies. And I was lucky to work for very like big brands and such as Pantene, Gillette, Miss Clairol, MetLife, General Electric, 3M, and so on.
Wow, you describe that, and is, as you will say, gender is something that have been sometimes defining what we can do or not, unfortunately. And part of the
Yes.
things that you mentioned is you paid for your studies and then you arrived to these big agencies around the world. So how did you manage that? I mean, how did you achieve that, even having to deal with the gender, for example?
I would say that at the beginning it was difficult, but I had a different mindset. I would say that studying and working made me probably tough. So I was not like very easy. Like I know that there are many other people that would say like, no, I have to focus on my study and I go back to home and I receive like the pampering of the care of my parents. In my case, it was very different. So I guess it makes you tough and it prepares you for what is coming. So when I arrived in BBDO and I was working there, of course I could see these differences in terms of like male and female, the creatives. I studied graphic design and advertising. My idea was to go to the creative team, but finally I could see that it was like very male dominant. And I was feeling a little bit intimidated. So it's this idea that the guys are the ones that are the creatives that go and that win the prizes and all that stuff. And women are more on the planning and client services and all that stuff. But finally, I realized that it was very interesting for me because I was able to learn all the different areas of the agency. So I was able to learn about media, to learn about the strategy or the planning of the campaigns, media, events, everything. Whether in the creative world or in the creative area, I was going to be more very focused in that. So I think it was finally helpful, and it was what allowed me to grow and to move to different companies. So I was able to, they offered me a job or a position in New York. And I guess it was those challenges that I suffered or that I passed through my career that allowed me to overcome the challenges.
Wow, that is something like stereotypes is not just in certain industries. Now that you are mentioned the creative industry and the advertising industry, and I have been part of that as well, and I got the same feeling that you had. What I was saying is, even if you are feeling the pressure that this is a male-dominated industry, you decide to go and learn a little bit about all the other positions and how you can perform well and learn all the different tasks or responsibilities that was there. So that brought you to New York. So this experience in New York already, can you give us a little bit more of this experience living in New York, working for big agency and managing these big brands that you manage there?
Yeah. Well, of course, as you can imagine, for every person that is working in the advertising world, that New York is the thing, is what you dream, what you want to. And it's very funny because when I received the call that they were interested on having me as a part of the New York team, of course I needed to pass through a lot of interviews. And when I said that to my mom was like, yeah, but you don't remember the first day that you started working in advertising. You said that one day you were going to be working in New York. So I forgot about that. But finally, we all had this in mind. Even if we don't say it, we all had this idea. So arriving to New York was like the dream come true. It's very fast paced. Everything is happening there. Everything is starting there, but it's also very competitive. So it really pushes you to be the best, and like the best in every aspect of your life. But on the other side, it also makes you doubt about yourself. It makes you doubt and question if you're good enough for that position. And then there is one moment that you don't know, like, if you need to keep being the nice person, because I was the typical Mexican that I was arriving and saying hello to everybody and hugging and all that stuff. And people was like, hey, we're not like that in here. So it was a bit frustrating for me. You know, I remember calling my mom crying, like calling my mom in Mexico crying, saying like, I guess I have to change. I have to, like, people is looking at me like I am like the bicho raro, And my mom was like, like you have to be who you are, and you need to be true to yourself. And at the end, like, you just arrive and they will see who you are, and they will learn how to love you and how to accept you the way you are. So I would say that it's true. It's very difficult. You think that you're worthless, but the reality is that once you decide that you're there for a reason and you want to keep on pushing, you make things happen. So it's also just realizing that when you are in that position, when you get that job, is because of there is a reason. So you need to trust in that. You need to trust that you are good. You need to be like your own cheerleader as well. So yeah, those were the big challenges.
Yeah, well, a lot of challenges, because actually being abroad and in a country with a new culture is part of the things that actually as well we are living here in Europe, because we are coming from Latin America, where this is a very different environment in terms of how you relate with other people around. So it is true, even when, in US, in New York is multicultural, and actually where we are living right now, Luxembourg is multicultural as well, but there is many changes and many different things that are working in a different pace, are working in a different point of view. So it's something that is very challenging, and I am included in this pot because that have been challenging for me as well. But actually, this is an opportunity to grow, to be a better person, to believe in yourself, to really have the tools to say, I have now no one else. I have just myself. I need to believe in myself. I need to have the willpower to continue in this.
Yes, it's true. It's true.
So you have it. And this is already a big thing, and something to be proud of that. And related with all those challenges, and related with when you decide to get out of America and come to Europe, if you wanted to give us a little bit of context, because of course arriving to a new country, a new continent, actually, you need to see how that works. You need to show yourself. You need to looking for an employment. So how that works and how this experience make the woman that you are today.
So the reason why we moved to Europe was my husband and I were working very hard. We started a family. We thought everything was going to be perfect. We're going to keep on like working as always. But the reality is that your life changes a lot when somebody new arrives in your house, in your lives. So we took the decision to move to Europe. My husband is from Belgium. So it was, I would say that it was one of the toughest decisions that I've taken, because when I moved to New York, my idea was that I was going to become probably not the CEO of Great New York, but I was going to be like this businesswoman, super successful. And things were changing, like totally. Like I was a mom, and I was moving to a country where I didn't have the same language, where I didn't understand the culture, and I was arriving with a baby. So we had this plan to take things easy, and that I was going to take some time off to be a mom, a full-time mom, while I could learn the language to start working. But the reality is that first, I guess I would say that arriving here, like New York, and then the camp, living in
It's a
Europe,
big contrast.
it's a big contrast. It allowed me. I was very patient. I took some time. I learned French, even though there are like thousands and thousands of exceptions for everything that you're writing. So I thought that was like a big barrier, because, we're in advertising, we're in communications. We need to be masters of the language. So, but that was not the only problem. I had a big position. My last job in New York was VP Global Account Director for Gillette. So when I was sending my CV here, I would say I sent many hundreds of emails. People was not necessarily looking for my expertise. So even though I was even saying that I could be an assistant at the end, or just like to allow me to have a job here, it was very hard. So I started looking on LinkedIn, and that's 9 years ago. I started looking on LinkedIn, and I had the opportunity to start working in Luxembourg. And I would say that we first moved to Belgium. We were living closer to Brussels. But and all the jobs that I was looking for were there. But finally, what I saw in Luxembourg was this this door that was opening for me, because after so many no's, somebody finally here in Luxembourg say, yes, you're welcome. And after that, of course, like everything changed. I was working for a global brand. I was working in English. So it was very easy. Still, you have a different culture. You have a different way of living. You're also coming from the outside. So you need to be very humble, and you need to learn, and you need to, as I said, learn about the culture. I still haven't had time to learn Luxembourgish. I speak better French, but I would say that it's part of my long-term goals.
Yeah, did you say what we all say, moyen, Anadi?
Moyen, exactly.
But it's true, be part of a culture, and actually is you was lucky, because finding a job in Luxembourg when you are coming with a senior CV, a background that happens to me here as well. In certain way, companies are seeing your CV, and really they are saying, no, but this is overqualified. That happens to me in the moment that I wanted to go and looking for a job. It was like, no, you are overqualified. We cannot hire you. So why? So how you really start to remove things from your CV, because you cannot show that you have been with the big ones, and you have been doing with all these responsibilities and all this brand managing around the world. That was my case, and your case, managing these big brands, and then you are starting to reduce. And well, even as assistant, do you need an assistant? So it's incredible how we really need to make ourselves arriving to this continent, to this country. That haven't happened to me as well, and I'm happy that you are sharing this experience, because I'm feeling so identified with you. And I am sure that many of the women that are listening to us, even men as well, all genders, are having the same exactly situation arriving to here.
Yeah.
So, connecting a little bit about this experience that you had, being a mother, starting in a country where the things start to be quite difficult. Finally, how that evolved and how did you end up building what you have right now that is your own company?
So I started working in an agency. The client was Adidas, as I mentioned. It was very good for me because it was a global account and I had all the expertise. So it was very beneficial for everybody there. And for me, it was the opportunity to keep on doing what I was previously doing. But after a while and after COVID, I realized that I had the opportunity, the potential to do the things the way I think. I believe that communications, or we as marketers or as communicators, have a very important role to change mindsets or to change conducts, to change behaviors. So instead of keep on pushing people to buy more products just for the matter of buying, I realized that we needed to start doing communications in a more conscious way. So 3 years ago, I decided, and also pushed by the beliefs from my clients, I decided to open Cielo, which is basically an fully integrated marketing company or agency. And the idea of Cielo is to create communications that are not only elevating the work of our clients, I would say like the brands or the services, but we're also committed to help them find a purpose and create impact with the communications that we're doing. So that's on one hand. And on the other hand, so when I opened Cielo, I thought my company was going to be a success since day one. And my idea was that part of my profits in that time were going to be to help girls in Latin America, specifically homeless girls in Latin America, to improve their way of living or their education.
That is impressive. That
Yeah.
is impressive because it's a purpose. It's building a company with a strong purpose when you are helping others, and especially in this case, helping girls that are in need. So that is absolutely amazing, Carla. I really admire these things behind your company and behind your brand. And I will love you to explain us how that works exactly.
So, because at the beginning of Cielo, I was pitching to all my clients, and finally, I was not able to get them because I was a sole proprietor. I was very small. I didn't have capital. They were saying that I was a risk in that time because even though the clients knew me, procurement was not necessarily having like this, how to say, this back or this information or this. I don't know how to say the support that could say that I was like a very well established and known company. So I started doing some research in Latin America and Mexico specifically, of course, because I'm Mexican. And I found an association that is having 30 girls. They help them from like they were living in precarious situations, so their parents didn't have the opportunity to put them in school. So I told them my idea was to give some money of my profits, but I don't have clients and I have a lot of time. So if you allowed me, I can start doing the communications for you for free. And of course, they were like surprised because they say like there's nobody that comes and offers things for free like that, even though we are an association. There's always something, they will need something. Because I was not even requesting for a proof of work or anything like that. So I started doing some communications, and then I created a platform, I would say, that is called Emprendiendo con el Corazón. When I was going to these associations, most of them, they were saying they would need food, or they would need clothes, or they would need something for the girls. But the reality is that I wanted to have a broader impact. So we created this platform that is called Emprendiendo con el Corazón. And the idea of Emprendiendo con el Corazón is to use art therapy to teach the girls to create a piece of art. In this specific case, was a heart. And the heart had a reason. We were creating, or they were building this heart because they were at the same time reliving all the traumas, or the traumas that they have in their lives. So at the same time that they were receiving these classes or this education to build the hearts, I was looking on Instagram to find illustrators in Mexico to go and to talk with the girls and to explain, I would say, like as an inspirational talk, to tell them how, even though life is difficult, life as an artist is difficult, or whatever is their activity was, they could have a possibility. They could change the future. And it was with illustrators, and it was also with businesswomen. So at the end of the sessions, the girls had this heart. We found an exhibition place. The girls were exhibiting their pieces. We were inviting, I would say, like all my family, my friends, and everyone there went to the exhibition. They bought the pieces, and we were able to raise funds for the girls. And I would say that what we got from that is not only, I would say that I am not only feeling proud for the money that we made, but it was also for the change that you could see in the girls, the change of mindset. How they have realized that they have the power in their hands to create something, to build something, to change their future. And I would say that it's not only that, but it's also changing the, this, or breaking this cycle of poverty. So if we're enabling these girls to believe that they can do something of their lives, like that they can be successful, they can change that. So I would say that every time that I think about the girls, I think that if we invest in those girls, we are investing in probably in the future leaders of the world, the leaders that we need.
Yeah, this is part of the empowerment, actually, awakening all this power that we all have inside, that sometimes we need somebody else that come and pushing a little bit. Yes. And let us know how we can really make a lot of things come into the reality. One of the things, this change of mindset, that have a very important point to take in consideration when you really make and want to generate changes. So part of the things that you have been doing and empowering girls and empowering women, another thing that you and I have a conversation in between is that in your agency, you are looking to support women business. Can you elaborate a little bit more about that and let us know how are you doing that and how you are supporting women?
Yes, definitely. I would say that a lot of people ask me, because I am trying to give more jobs to women, and I am working mostly with female-led companies. But that doesn't mean that I don't work with male-led companies. The reason why I give more, I would say, like, it's not opportunity. The reason why I'm more keen to work or to support these companies is because, there was a McKinsey study that mentioned that women-led business can contribute to a global economic growth of, it was like 28 trillion by 2025. And that's even higher than the GDP of China and USA. But the problem is that from all those female-led companies, there is a big percentage of business that close in the first or in the second year. And the reason is because they don't have enough support. They don't have enough economical support. But there is also a situation, and I see it by myself, is that you are a business person or you are an entrepreneur, but that doesn't mean that you have to stop being a mother or a woman and you have all the responsibilities. So on top of building a business from zero and having to deal with all the different areas, like, of course, marketing, business, networking, all the stuff, you still need to be a mom. It's very difficult. And there was one moment that I thought about looking for a credit, but we don't do that. At least me, I don't want to ask for a credit. I don't want to put my family, my kids, my house in a risk. So it's always these situations that we oversee when we're, when we see a female led or a female owned business. So I would say that that's the reason. That's why sometimes I found women that are just starting their business. And they would say like, I don't have a logo or I don't have money or so, but I would say like, don't worry. I will see how can I help? And I would come with a logo or I will try to help with their communications campaign for social media, because I am trying to I'm trying to give some support because I was there. I was, one moment I was starting, like knowing my profession, knowing what to do, but not necessarily knowing how to run a business. So it's just, I could say like probably it's like a change of favors. Like if we do it, more people will be doing it. So more women own business will succeed, and we will have this impact, this economic impact.
Yeah, correct. And you mentioned something important, is how we support between women to succeed. And part of the things that I saw that you have been having actually a recognition is the iconic woman creating a better world for all. That is the G100 initiative. I think that this is something truly remarkable and actually recognizing all the things that you have been done. So if you can share with us how you end up getting that and arriving there, and what this is about, because I think that here we have a voice to try to bring all those people together, all those women to the G100. So please.
Yeah. But last year, it was going to be like December 2022 or November 2022, I was invited to Paris. There was the Paris Peace Economic Forum, but at the same time, there was a G100 meeting. It was the first time that I was part of this. I was not understanding what it was, but I was interested to see because it was related to gender equality, to female empowerment. And it's basically G100 is an initiative that has been created for an equal, progressive, and inclusive environment for women worldwide. So I was interested to know more. When I arrived there, I would say that I felt that I arrived to the right place, where my ideas about helping women and helping girls were resonating, and where all the people that was there was doing the same. So there was people that was working in the government with Macron that were pushing for diversity and inclusion. There were women that were the Nobel Prize. I was impressed to see the level of leadership, of female leadership that I saw there. I was like, oh my God, like I am not doing anything. These women are like top. And her being, of course, the founder, which is a person with a big heart, and she's very convinced about the creation of these places, the creation of these initiatives. What we're saying is that G100 is a group of 100 leaders, but it's in very different areas. And I would say there was a study from, I'm not sure if it was the United Nations, but there was a recent study that was saying that to get gender equality, we're going to need like 300 years or so. So what we're planning is to work together very hard to make gender equality a reality within the decade. I know it sounds crazy. It sounds very difficult, but I believe that what we're trying to do is we're trying to invite more and more people, not only women, men and women, because we're realizing that we cannot do it by ourselves. So we need the whole world coming together to make this a reality. And so after that event, I was invited on November last year. Harbin wrote me and she invited me to be part of the Women Economic Forum, which is another initiative that she's also the founder and she's been leading. So it was the 100, the event 100 of the Women Economic Forum. And she asked me to participate and to be a speaker, to talk about Cielo and what I was doing. And at the beginning, I was like, no, I'm too scared. I'm not going to do that. We're like leaders from all over the world. And I was like, no, I cannot. But then I would say that there is something that comes, that gets inside of you and is telling you that you have to do it. Because if you stand up there, you will stand and you will allow more women and more people to do the same. So I would say that all the fear that I had converted or changed to, I have to do it. It's not for me. It's for all the women, for all the girls. So I went there. I presented my speech. It was talking, of course, about Cielo, about sustainable business, about how we can have an impact with the work that we are doing. And at the end of the speech, we have like a panel with 10 different people. At the end of the speech, they gave the rewards, the awards. And then there were like another Mexican girl and myself. We gave like a step further, and they say like we were receiving these iconic women working for a better world for all, to her and to myself. So I was impressed because I was not expected to have it, but well, it's that's how it happens. That's how it happened, and I was impressed.
Yeah, me too. That is an incredible story, because the problem is that sometimes we are doing things that we consider is not going to generate that impact. And then just when the people start to listen in what we are doing, and in your case, doing something so big, I think that generates impact in some way. And even when we are just doing small things that we consider that as small, personally, I don't consider that what you have done is small. It's very big, because taking the initiative to do that is already something very big. You are helping to change minds. You are helping girls to get out of poverty. That is something incredible. And having this recognition is actually the right thing, and I am so happy to know that you received that, and as well that you are continue supporting women and helping the women in their business. So now, Karla, can you let us know where the people can contact you and your agency, what they can expect from your services, what kind of clients are you looking for, and all these kind of things?
Yes, of course. The agency name the website is cieloteam.com. So you can get there, you can see what we're doing, the type of work that we're doing. In terms of clients, I would say that we have the capabilities to work with any type of client. So either if they are like startups, or it's just like a person that is starting their own business, if they're trying to figure out what's the name, the logo, or even just like if it's a good fit, like which type of business or which type of yes, you can find my website the Cielo's website is www.cieloteam.com, and you can see there the type of work that we're doing, that we have done. And in terms of the clients, I would say that we have capabilities to work with any type of clients, either very small clients. And now that we're almost going to be 3 years in the business, we're not a risk anymore. We have proof that we're doing good business in terms of profits, but also in terms of impact. we're mostly working with clients or with companies that are committed to have a positive impact. That's what I would say. But what I can offer is that if you're a company and you don't know what is your purpose or how you can move into this to have an impact on all this stuff, we can talk and we can find, according to the specific company, we can help you find that purpose and the one that is going to be also calling to your employees, the ones that are probably going to make your company grow and have your employees more happy, and you as well, because when you work with a purpose and when you work for a bigger, I would say for a bigger purpose, life changes. The way that you do the things and the effort that you put to the things changes. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing that with us. And one of the things that for me is more important is we are buying to humans. And this is one thing that you mentioned, that you need to have 3 years as a company in order to generate this trust. But why people and companies are not just meeting you as a company, and I am talking as well from myself, and establish this relationship and show the capabilities and the trust that you can generate, because it's not just behind a name. Yes, I know that many companies need a lot of time to demonstrate, but why you don't establish this first contact and know the human behind the brand or the agency that is offering the service, that will really allow us to have more business, more clients, and give better results, and in certain way changing the world. That is part of the thing that we want. So I don't know, Karla, if you want to say something else, to add something else to this beautiful interview.
Yeah, just for this point, I would say that it's important that the procurement policies change, because everybody needs to have an opportunity to prove themselves and to prove that they are capable of doing things. And I would say it's not only for a company, it's also for the junior people or for the elderly people that is still willing to work. And we have these barriers. So what I could say is that everybody, no matter how old they are, no matter what their beliefs are in terms of religion, no matter their gender, they all can have great ideas, and they all have, we're all humans, we all have a heart, and we all should care for the others and try to help each other. So yes, hopefully, the world is changing, so hopefully things will change.
Yeah, that's true. And we are still doing every day different things to make that generate an impact and generate a change. And I am so happy to having you here, Karla. And thank you for sharing your story of life and all your knowledge and all these inspirational stories that really are making a change in the world. Thank you very much, Karla, for being here.
Thank you very much. Thanks for inviting me.
We hope you have been inspired by this content and join us for future episodes of the Brilliantly Branded podcast. We will continue exploring the power of branding and the stories behind successful brands. And remember, if you know a woman who has built a successful brand with a unique approach and a story to share, please refer them to our podcast. We would love to learn from their experiences and share their story with our listeners. Stay tuned for most episodes of Brilliantly Branded, and don't forget to follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, on our YouTube channel for more branding insights and women empowerment. Until the next episode, ciao ciao.